What's going on, guys? Austin Zabak here with another video. This is going to be a phenomenal video. You saw the title. You obviously saw the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about arguably the number one most important thing in the real estate industry. It doesn't matter if you're a flipper. It doesn't matter if you're a wholesaler, if you're looking to buy another rental property, or if you're just looking to get into real estate. This arguably, Brendan, is the number one most important thing, in my humble opinion. And honestly, maybe the hardest thing to do in 2021. I mean, there's a lot of people that haven't figured it out. And that is, how do you buy a property below market value, right, at a discount in 2021? Because, you know, everybody says you make money in the buy, right? We've heard it forever. You hear guys like Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about it in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? You make money in the buy. And so if you don't buy a property right, you know, that might not turn out good long term, right? But in 2021, with a housing shortage and everything going on in the world, lowest record interest rates, I mean, throughout the entire country, you have virtually no supply. You have a ton of demand. So why would sellers want to sell at a discount? That is the topic of today. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would smash the like button, smash that subscribe button, and let's just jump into it, Brendan. So for a living, we buy properties at a discount, right?
Yep.
As what we do every day. You know, now we have a lot of different methods of how we do that, you know, and obviously now we've scaled and we have employees and we have people that are helping us. But you know, it's something anybody can do.
Yep.
So like, let's just talk about it a little bit. I mean, where does your mind go first when you're like, okay, I gotta buy, like if I just put you in a random market, I know you're somebody that if I just dropped you in like Michigan,
Yep.
you know, within a very short period of time, you could source a deal below market value.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how come you can do that and maybe somebody watching, like, you know, they're not entirely sure, they're not confident in their ability to be able to do that?
Yeah. Man, an amazing topic
Yeah.
because my head goes everywhere, you know. Number one, it's like, hey, what market? And so what's a good deal in your market? So it's like, I think of this and I think of my first question, and that's, okay, what's a good deal? And so wherever you're at, what is actually considered a good deal wherever you're at? And then secondly, no matter where you get plopped into the entire country, you know, your number one skill is going to be solving problems and helping people. So it's like your ability to identify what it is the need of the person that you're talking with and coming up with a solution to that problem.
Yep.
And, you know, if you are able to identify that and then understand what's a good deal inside your market, it's
Game over.
It's game over. I mean, it's today there's nothing different, in my opinion, than any time in history, you know, to buy a good real estate deal. You know, those are the two things that you need to understand, you know, saturated, whatever, you right? So, you know, that's kind of what I think. I can go everywhere.
Yeah, well, no, I think it's a phenomenal statement, actually. I'm really glad you put it that way because it's the truth. You know, like you pointed out two very important key kind of factors in that process, right? It's like, you know, people focus on a lot of stuff that maybe isn't relevant at the beginning, right? It's like, okay, well, like you said, what is a good deal?
Right.
I mean, a good deal in Arizona compared to a good deal in Michigan or North Carolina or Atlanta, Georgia, California, Texas, they're all going to be totally different, right? So it's running the numbers, figuring out, okay, you know, I mean, look, if anything, arguably in 2021, it's easier to do all that.
And I was just going to say that. I would say almost in history as a whole, like, it is the easiest time to find a good deal probably ever, because what's considered a good deal right now, you know, is pretty easy to get in my, you know, depending on your
look at
skill set
technology
and your knowledge.
And technology, right? I mean, imagine a day and a time where you couldn't just get somebody's information on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, now with a click of a button, you can essentially take an address, right? An address, maybe you're driving down the road, a property looks distressed, whatever, and you can get that person's contact information like that.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, 10 years ago, like, you had to go knock on their door, you had to chase them down, you had to figure out where they worked. How are you going to figure all that out, right? So arguably, technology. And then, you know, now we have all the platforms. You have the Zillow and the Redfin and the Trulia, Realtor.com. And, like, you know, figuring out what a deal's worth is relatively simple.
Right.
You know.
acclimate yourself to that market. You know, anywhere that you go, find people who know the market, specifically have been doing deals in that market for a long time, and that could be whether you're buying and holding, you're a flipper. Find somebody, you know, in that market who's doing that.
Yep.
Figure out what it is that's a deal, you know, within those markets, you know, and that, like you say, through technology, you can figure that out.
Yeah.
With the understanding of each market, man, like it's crazy. You know, Detroit's actually a place, you know.
Yeah,
It's
Detroit's amazing.
It's a good little place.
So you can buy properties right now in Detroit for they've gone up a little bit.
They've gone up significantly.
What is it, like 75 grand now to buy like a good?
yeah.
Okay.
So like, you know, properties we're looking at 4 years ago,
Yep.
$15,000 into the property,
Right.
okay, are 75,000
Wow.
now. So that's one of my buddies
Yep.
right now. He's heavy in Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the report. that
Dude,
I'm
there
getting
you
from
go.
him.
So look at, so you know a guy, right?
Yep.
You know, you can meet people anywhere, right? It's 2021. It's like, okay, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, look at Facebook groups, go on meetup.com, like LinkedIn, you know, TikTok, right? Like YouTube, figure out who's in the local market that you're in, right? Starting your own backyard, boom, you know a guy. He tells you, he's like, okay, Brendan, you know, properties that used to trade for 15 grand now trade for 75 grand. So you literally just ask him, you're like, okay, cool. Like, is that fully remodeled? Like, are they trading at 75? Are they trading fully remodeled? Are they trading? Is that what they're trading at? And you just start asking questions, right? They're going to tell you,
Yep.
you know, because you just developed that relationship, right?
Yep.
Boom. Now you know. So it's like, okay, boom. I know the numbers now, right? And now all I got to do is start to look at properties in that area. And I have to just start to ask myself, okay, well, let's just say theoretically in that area, they're trading at 75,000 fully remodeled.
Yeah.
Then I go and I say, okay, well, what does it cost if I find one in the area that's like totally beat up, run down, you know, needs like everything, right? Carpet, paint, you know, fixtures, flooring, the whole 9 yards. What is it going to cost to get it to that level, right?
Yep.
You literally just start. It's a math equation.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't got to be smart. I mean, you just look at it. You take a piece of paper. Okay, here's what it's worth. Subtract out what is it going to cost to get me there? How much profit does somebody want to make? You know, is it going to cost any? Is there any other additional money? Closing costs, you know, things like that, right? There's your number.
Yeah.
It's like that's what you got to pay.
Yep.
And then, like you said, it just becomes a numbers game.
Yep.
By doing what? By solving the problem.
Right.
So it's like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller.
And now you're a marketer.
Right.
So you've got your back end knowledge, you know, and now it's okay. How am I going to get in front of as many people as possible? You know, the game hasn't changed. And you know, you can do niche marketing. You can do blanket marketing.
Yep.
Blanket marketing across the entire country right now, or you can do, you know, that's almost what you would consider blanket marketing in today's wholesale world. And, you know, more of a niche market would be, okay, I'm focusing on Phoenix, Arizona, like just Phoenix. Okay. And so when you're hitting an entire area like that, now it's like, hey, how many, you know, leads am I getting? And how many of those are actual leads, and then conversion rate, you know? And it's like, okay, what are the best different, you know, what are all the different ways that I'm going to generate these leads? You know, and that's a whole nother.
It's a whole nother conversation, right? But for the purpose of the video that we're making today, understand that it isn't very complicated, right?
No.
I mean, you just have to start thinking like somebody who thinks outside of the box. I mean, because all it is at the end of the day, in my humble opinion, is it's how do I get somebody on the phone with me to talk about their property or in person, right? So I either need to sit at their dining room table and have a conversation with them about selling their property, or I need to have a phone conversation with them. Well, how do we get them either on the phone or at the dining room table? Obviously, the dining room table, maybe you just go knock on their door.
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
Right.
To get them on the phone, there's a million ways to get somebody on the phone, right? And that's where you just get creative. You watch other YouTube videos, stuff like that, and it's like, okay, well, there's 100 ways I can get in front of people, get them interested, like you said, generate a lead, somebody who says, hey, I'm interested in selling, get them on the phone and start having a conversation with them. And the conversation's simple, man. I think a lot of people overcomplicate real estate, man.
For sure.
Especially like when they're trying to buy like properties below market value, maybe they're newer to the industry and they think like they've got to have this perfect script and the perfect conversation. They got to know everything, right?
Yep.
And it's like, man, you're just talking to another human being
Right.
that has interest in selling their property.
Yep.
And you're just positioning yourself as somebody who can potentially provide a solution to their problem.
Yep.
Just building rapport.
Yep.
And arguably, like, the things that you're talking to them about are things that if you were legitimately going to buy that property, like for yourself, they're the things that you would want to know.
Yeah.
Right? Like
100%.
and so a lot of people are like, well, what do I need to ask? Like, well, what would you want to know
Yep.
if you were buying it?
Yeah.
You'd want to know everything you could possibly know. You'd want
Yeah.
to know, like, why are they selling? How long have they lived there? What's the status? What's the condition? How old's the roof? The air conditioner? Blah, 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 right? And you just start having this conversation with the person, and there's everything you need, right?
Right.
Why do you think in 2021, people, you know, we kind of mentioned at the beginning, right? People talk, oh, it's saturated. I can't get a good deal. The market's too hot. You know, you hear all this stuff every day. And yet you have dudes like us that we're still out there doing it every day.
Yeah.
At a very high level, arguably at the highest level we've ever done it at.
Yep.
You know, why do some people, you know, not do it and some people do it? I mean, is it just as simple as a mindset? I mean, like, is there just something that they're missing? Are they overcomplicating it? I
Right.
mean, what's your opinion?
My opinion is it's a mindset and it's a skill set, you know? And it all starts with your mindset. For me personally, and I believe that to be true for others. And, you know, if your mindset isn't coming from a place of servanthood, gratitude, these things, you know, if your mindset is me, my gain, my money, you know, you go out into the world and you're like, I'm trying to, you know, do these deals.
Trying to get my bag.
I'm trying to go ahead and get my bag, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
and that is the wrong mindset. And then that's going to translate into you could be the most talented, you know, best salesperson in a different industry. You could have it all.
Right.
And your skill set that you have at sales, talking to people, your personality, all that can be for naught with the wrong mindset. I believe in this particular game.
Yep.
And real estate and acquiring properties, in particular, because people want to work with someone they like and they trust. And so, you know, the biggest thing you can do is be somebody's friend.
Yep.
And help them. You know, it's counterintuitive to what a lot of people are taught in this world too, which is kind of interesting.
It really is.
I've found this approach though, like to work, you know, like you've got the classic, like, oh, if it doesn't work, then I'm on to the next. It's like, okay, like you're not going to get as many deals. And so that's why, you know, we go back in the beginning of this conversation. It's like, okay, you have the knowledge, and then you have the other aspect of it, and that is finding somebody's needs and their problem and then solving it. So you've got to have that right mindset and then the skill set to go in there. And ultimately, though, like you say, the skill, like you could have zero skills and just a basic understanding and a knowledge. And if you just go out there and like be someone's friend and help them, like, and have the right mindset, that's the most important. And that's the part that everybody has, you know, if you got the people who are doing it, like you say, and the people who are just not, they could be trying to do it too.
They could.
Which is
and
the
just
crazy
failing.
part. And just like 8 hours a day, just trying to do it.
We see it.
And then you've got over here, you know, people who are doing it, and it just attracts into their life because they've got the right mindset. You know what I mean?
Dude, I met with a guy, man, like, you've heard this story 100 times, but I met with an old mentor of mine a long time ago, many, many, many years ago.
Yep.
And I sat and I went and I had a notepad, right?
Yep.
And I was ready, and I'm like, and I went to his house, okay?
Yeah.
So I go to his house, and I'm getting ready to go in. He worked at the time out of his casita in the back of his house, okay? And I go there, and he's like, Austin, come over. I'm going to teach you how to get deals, right?
Yep.
And you've heard the story. And I bring my notepad, and I have my pen, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, like I'm ready. You know what I mean? Like, give me the formula. Give me the secret, right?
Yeah.
And he leans over, and he says, Austin, he's like, I wake up every day.
Yeah.
I close my eyes. And he's like, I meditate. And I'm like writing, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like, okay, close your eyes, wake up, meditate, right? And then he's and then I'm like, I'm waiting for him to like keep talking, right? And he's like, and I close my eyes, and he's like, I just ask for deals.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm writing, and I'm like, okay, what's next? And he's like, that's it. He's like, I attract it all in my life. And it was so appalling to me
Yeah.
because at the time it didn't make any sense, right?
Right.
I was like, well, that doesn't make, I mean, how are you,
Yep.
But then the more years that went by, the more I started to understand what he was saying.
Right.
Right. He, some of that he meant literally.
Yep.
And there was portions of that, it wasn't a literal statement, right?
Yep.
What he was referring to is what you're saying, which is, hey, it's all about the mindset.
Right.
It's about going out there and serving people. It's about helping people. And it's about doing it for other people. The moment you do it for other people, I really believe, man, like in the real estate industry in particular, right? It's going to look different in the car sales industry, the insurance industry. If you're selling vacuum cleaners door to door, it's going to look different, right?
Yeah.
But in the real estate industry in particular, you got to take the focus off of yourself and put it on the client, right? On the customer, on the homeowner. And then you'll be successful, in my humble opinion, right? You do that consistently day in and day out. Like you create you get your key performance indicators. Like, okay, how many people am I going to talk to every day? How many genuine conversations can I have based on whatever marketing I'm doing? And by the way, that marketing could be literally driving around in your car.
Yeah.
We're not talking, rocket science here. Like we're not splitting atoms.
Right.
Right. We're talking to John and Karen about selling their house.
Right.
Right. Like driving around in our car.
Yeah.
Running on 87 octane.
Yeah.
Like we're right. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, we're not doing algebra here.
No, we're not. No, it's like you do not have to be like, listen, like I'm not the smartest guy in the world, right?
We're talking to Joe.
We're talking to Joe and we're talking to Mary and Nancy about selling their house.
Their home.
They've lived there for a long time.
Yeah.
They've set up their Christmas tree 385 times.
Right.
Right. They got their stockings. They hang right. It's in storage right now, but they hang right on the fireplace there. They got their stocking holders, the whole 9 yards, right? And we're talking about potentially buying their property.
Right.
For cash.
Yep.
At maybe a potential slightly below market number.
Yeah.
But here's the benefits. We're going to give you boom, 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 and boom.
Yep.
And it's going to be beautiful, and your life's going to be simple. And we're going to help you because we're going to help you buy another house. We're going to create the perfect timeline for you.
Yep.
We're going to create the perfect amount of money in your pocket so you can go do whatever it is that you want to go do.
Right.
Right? We're their friend. Dude, like,
yeah.
I feel like, man, like,
It's pretty straightforward.
Like, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, okay? Drop a comment down below. This is gold, man. Like, I wish I'd have heard this. Like, me and you collectively been in the real estate industry over 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? And, these are things that over the last, 12, 24 months, like, it's all come full circle, right? And now we operate every single day from a place of just purely, like, putting the right energy out into the world to where we're deserving of people actually bringing their property to us and trusting us to solve their problem because we actually analyze their problem.
Yeah.
We actually look at their, like, Brendan, you did a deal not too long ago where the dude, he wanted to sell you his property and you got it all figured out, right? And in building rapport, he wanted to go live on his houseboat.
Right.
On the lake, on one of the lakes down here in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like, even just acquiring that information tells me that you built a ton of rapport with the guy.
Yeah.
Because see, somebody else, they might not they might not ever get that deep in the conversation because they're just so focused on closing the deal.
Right.
But here's you're like, oh, you know exactly what kind of houseboat he has, what lake he's planning on going to.
Yep.
He's gonna live on it because this, and this, these chain of events in his life, and this is where it all led for him. And therefore, you were able to position yourself in a situation where, I think at one point you're like, dude, like, because we had some jet skis at the time.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, I'll come visit you on the jet skis, like, blah, 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 right? Dude, that only happens when you're out there serving people, man.
Yeah.
When you're actually out there having, like, conversations.
You're being friends, man. Like, and I try to I describe this to people, right? Not only, our internal teams and conveying this idea and to also, plenty of other teams. And, because this is what people struggle with. And so this is what we teach people, is to, like, be people's, be their friend.
Yep.
And, when you think about, okay, what am I saying?
Right.
When I say being somebody's friend, because that's a way to describe it to somebody and maybe they'll catch on to it. But it's like, obviously helping people, pretty straightforward. When you're being their friend, it's you're interacting in a way that you want to interact with that person because they're your friend. You're enjoying the conversation that you're having with them.
Yep.
And so you're pleasant to be around. So you're somebody, that person, when this seller gets a phone call from you, they're very excited.
Yeah.
You literally become their friend. That seller in particular, you know, he'll call me to this day.
Yeah.
And we're cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wanted to, you know, called me
Yep.
for months after the sale. So, you know, I genuinely come connected with my sellers.
Yeah, because how many investors out there, you know, they do the deal, maybe they can pull it off, maybe they can get, you know, they can get to the closing table.
Yep.
But it's like, here's my question for you. Here's how you. Here's my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Here's how you know if you're doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Can you buy a piece of property at a discount?
Yep.
Okay, listen up if you're still watching the video. Can you buy a piece of property at a discount
Mm-hmm.
and the seller give you referrals
Yeah.
to their friends and family
Right.
after the sale is complete?
Yep.
That's the test.
Yeah.
If you can do that, if your seller will sell you their property at a discount and then refer you to all their friends and family,
Yeah, you're doing it right.
you did it right.
And you'll have that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have those relationships. They'll call you.
Yep.
You know, that exact gentleman calls me like
Yep.
every now and then. And ask for that too.
Yeah.
You gotta ask for that business later. Yeah, actually, you know, even if it doesn't go well,
Right.
your rapport and you're just being so real with the seller. So say you do have a bumpy transaction, which happens too. You know, you get close with sellers and then you've got problems. You know, you've got some bumps in the road. And that seller, you know, because of your relationship with them, it's going to get you through. And even at the end, it's like, hey,
Yeah,
I
they
know
don't
that
back
didn't-
out. Yep.
No, I'm like, I had one recently, and you know, we were just a couple days late on closing, which was a big deal for them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no other issue than we were just a couple days late to close.
Right.
And they were, you know, looking at the situation. I was like, hey, like, I understand you're frustrated. Like, I didn't want it, you know, absolutely didn't mean for it to go this way. You know, and we got it closed, got it done.
Yep.
And at the end, I was like, I know it really didn't go the way I planned. It was kind of embarrassing for me. But, you know, if you ever come across any friends, family, whatever.
Yep.
And he was like, absolutely. Like, you made it happen at the end of the day, you know.
Yep.
So you're buying deals.
Relationship.
Yeah, it's the relationship. And
Man.
I've realtor, seller, whatever,
Yep.
wholesaler, you know, 90% of the time we get through a transaction and we look at each other like, hey, this is
Yeah.
a really pleasant experience. And that's what's,
Yeah. I love that, dude.
you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, that is it in a nutshell, right? We'll do a lot more podcasts. We'll do a lot more videos, you know, breaking down anything you guys want. So if you're watching the video and you're like, yo, Austin, Brendan, like, you know, talk about marketing, talk about, you know, anything that you can think of, do me a huge favor. Do us a huge favor. Drop in the comment section below what you would love to see, what you're interested in, and we'll make videos on it right here, right? We'll keep it simple, we'll keep it real, we'll keep it raw, we'll keep it authentic, and we'll have a great time doing it. So, you know, don't undervalue the importance of this video, right? I know it was basic, it was simple, but I'm telling you, implement the things that we just talked about and watch how much real estate you acquire in the next 30, 60, 90 days, you know, 180 days. It'll absolutely blow your mind. Brendan, I appreciate you being on the show, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's
Thanks,
fun.
guys, for watching. We'll see you in the next one.